Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Princess Rayla, Part 1. The dragoness took a deep breath as she walked around the palace, memories coming back to her as she wandered the halls. She turned to the side as an elf came towards her. "Excuse me, I am looking for Lady Rayla." "Rayla? She's in the training room, madam." "Thank you," she replied, heading to the room in question. Even down the hallway, she could hear the sound of clashing metal coming from inside. Once reaching the door, she pushed against it and stepped in, watching the silver-haired female as she jumped back and forth. She swung her blades at blank targets before finally striking a killing blow. "Impressive." The elf turned to the dragoness, blades at the ready, but she stopped herself from attacking. The dragoness was similar in age to Queen Zuiba, with bright, grassy green eyes. Her skin was a tan dark brown, and her wings were dark red with even darker orange membranes. She was dressed in a long red gown with golden patterns, and it wrapped around her body, draped over one arm. Her long black hair was tied up in a bun behind her head, with an elegant pearl and a jeweled-fitting Magatakra on her brow, which matched the earrings and a necklace. She merely smirked at the elf. "I am Madame Shaka." Rayla blinked as she looked at her. "Oh, hi. You must be here to see Cal." The elf narrowed her eyes. "I am here to see Prince Cadmondius, but right now I am here to see you, Lady Rayla." "Me? I'm the lady," she chuckled, putting her blades away. "I'm just Rayla." "Not anymore. You are betrothed to the Crown Prince of Zadia, and from that, there is a level that you are now expected to meet." She lifted up her head again. "And I have been brought here to teach you the things you need to learn." Turning back to the dragoness, the dragon guard frowned. "Wait, you're a teacher?" "Yes," Shaktai said proudly, her tail flickering as she spoke. "The royal teacher. I used to live here in the palace many years ago." Thinking about it, Rayla suddenly gasped and covered her mouth with a smile. "Shaky! You're Miss Shaky, Cal's old teacher." She didn't look impressed. "That is the name the young prince used to call me, yes. And now I've returned to help both the prince and you, his fiancé." Rayla chuckled, hand on her hip as she looked her over. "You know, you're not what I expected, Miss Shaky." "My name is Madame Shaktai, and you will address me as such," she repeated sharply, beginning to circle the elf with a frown. "And I see I have my work cut out for me." What's that supposed to mean? Rayla asked. Rayla huffed, trying not to show too much irritation in her words. I was not just Cadmondius' teacher for mathematics, history, and writing, but also etiquette, manners, and the behavior expected of a prince. And while I will teach him to read and write, I will teach you the other elements of royalty, Lady Rayla. I told you, my name is just Rayla. The moment the prince put that ring on your finger, you weren't just anything anymore. Shaktai said. Excuse me. Said as she took a deep breath. You wish to make your fiancé proud, do you not? Well, I'm sure Cal's proud of me anyways. Lady Rayla, with the war over and peace between the lands secured, your duties as the prince's fiancé will outweigh any duties you may have as a dragon guard. She frowned at the idea. Well, maybe. And you don't want to embarrass the prince, do you? Scratching her neck, Rayla frowned. Well, no, I don't. So are you willing to learn how to behave as the princess you will one day become? Shatai asked with a stern tone. Looking at the floor, the elf thought about it. I guess. Then we shall begin at once. She has headed towards the door of the training room. We shall start with your appearance. She frowned at her again. What's wrong with my appearance? The dragoness looked over her shoulder with an incurious expression. Just follow me. Sighing deeply, Rayla followed, slightly curious about where they were going. Shaktai took her around the palace to a part she rarely visited herself, the area that the queen used as her personal quarters. Queen Zuiba has given me permission to use her room, since you don't have your own yet. I don't need my own room. I share with Callum. The dragoness huffed. It is not proper for the two of you to share rooms when you are unmated. I will ensure you have your own quarters from now on, and you will be expected to use them. But a princess does not answer back. But I'm not a princess. Yet. She reminded her as they entered the room. There was a large table set and chair in the middle with several strange items on it. Sit down, please. Why? So I can tackle that mess you call hair. Shati sighed, standing behind the chair and reaching for the tools on the table. It's hardly becoming of a lady, let alone a princess. I like my hair the way it is, she muttered, but sat down begrudgingly. Shaktai sighed again as she took the brush to her hair. Since you are of the Moon Primal, I have taken time to learn how the leaders of your people wear their hair, and the common style appears to be longer hair with jewels and braids. Yeah, that's how my people like it, but it'll take years for me to grow my hair that long. I will work with what I have. Now, while I do, tell me what you know of the Archdragons. Do I have to? Lady Rayla, if I am to educate you on the ways of royalty, I wish to know what you have already learned. While she felt the dragoness brush her hair, Rayla huffed and began to repeat what she remembered from her school days about the royals. About how each primal had two types of dragons, the normal kind and the archdragons. She remembered how archdragons were larger, stronger, and how they typically became royal dragons. She explained that traditionally the right of Dragon King was chosen by a fight of the strongest, but it had changed to be a hereditary title as bloodlines had been built. When she finally ran out of things to say, the dragon hummed. Well, you know a decent amount about dragons. She hummed, putting the brush down, and picked up a cloth that she took to the elf's horns, polishing them up for her. Glad you approve, she grumbled, then yelped as her head was pulled back. Hey, what are you doing? Your horns are filthy. When was the last time you cleaned them? Well, excuse me, I've been busy. From now on, you'll take better care of them. You don't have wings or a tail like dragons do, so horns will be your showing pride. Crossing her arms, she sat and waited as the dragon worked, messing with her horns and her hair. I think I know why Cal always ran away from you now. Be that as it may, I am the best at my job, and we will stop referring to the prince as Cal. His name is Cadmondius. He's Cal to me. Shatai huffed as she worked. It is not appropriate to address him so casually, and you will certainly stop calling him a lizard. That is just insulting to a royal dragon. He likes it when I call him cow and lizard. Those are my names for him. Perhaps in private, but when talking to others or referring to him, you should use Cadmondius. If I had known there were so many rules to being a princess, I wouldn't have said yes so quickly, she grumbled.